In just a little under a century, this pristine farmland transformed into the city of Pacifica. How did this happen, you ask? The Ocean Shore Railroad. Although short-lived, this railroad had a profound effect on the people and city of Pacifica. As early as the late 1800s, wealthy San Franciscans craved a place to escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life. For a while, they frequented the Cliff House and Sutro Baths, but eventually, it was decided that a train was necessary to escape the city altogether and visit a place like Pacifica, which was intended to become just like Coney Island was to New York, a resort town. Naturally, it took years to raise enough capital to make the dream of the Ocean Shore Railroad a reality, but eventually, it happened, and it was decided that the train would leave from 12th and Mission Streets in San Francisco and extend all the way to Santa Cruz, which it never actually did. The railroad was intended to be a double electric line, meaning that cars could travel in both directions and no steam would be necessary. Then, on the morning of April 18, 1906, disaster struck San Francisco. A 7.8 magnitude earthquake caused much of the city to catch fire, and it had even worse effects on the Ocean Shore Railroad. Millions of dollars worth of trackage was tossed into the ocean, and all dreams of a double-line electric commuter rail had to be tossed aside permanently. Finally, in 1907, the railroad began boring its first tunnel in the side of San Pedro Point. It then opened to the public later that same year. By June of 1908, tracks had reached El Granada, where the Ocean Shore built its grandest station yet. Once it was up and running, the Ocean Shore brought a real estate boom to Pacifica and the surrounding areas. Thousands of lots had been purchased up and down the coast, and businesses sprang up near all the stations. Every weekend, city folk came down the coast to enjoy picnics at Shelter Cove and Rockaway Beach, which was touted as the playground of San Francisco. Meanwhile, on return trips, farmers' crops were transported to the city from Half Moon Bay. The Ocean Shore didn't operate completely without trouble, however, and often rockslides plagued the railroad company. Sometimes, rail service had to be suspended or delayed while rockslides were cleared, and once the rail had to be regraded as a piece fell into the ocean. Indeed, travel on the Ocean Shore was usually safe, but always adventurous. And interestingly enough, many of these problems still plague us today. As time went on, the Ocean Shore drew closer and closer to failure. Not only was the newly popular automobile great for transporting goods, but people also liked to take it on day trips. And so, the railroad began losing riders, and with loss of ridership, began losing money, and with loss of money, could not pay the bills. The railroad was abandoned on October 10th, 1920. Many signs of the railroad's existence still remain today, including the still visible grading cuts and the Pedro Valley Station, which is now a private residence. Many communities popped up around the stations, and most still flourish today in the same manner they did 100 years ago. Though enduring decades of harsh weather, the ramshackle houses of Shelter Cove are still inhabited to this day. Still, one of the most enduring and visible signs of the railroad's existence is the Devil's Slide Cut, which is still dangerous to drive to this day. A new tunnel bore is currently under construction to bypass this very dangerous stretch of Highway 1.